What's up, squad? Welcome to the second episode of the Savagely Spoken Show. I'm your host, JSav, and this is a podcast where we are focused on empowering and enlightening the listeners through sharing experiences and stories to extract strategies and solutions that ultimately will help the listener navigate their own way to live in a more supreme lifestyle. Listen, on today's episode, I'll be doing some special segments as well as highlighting a time in my life where I was in a place where I was lost and stuck in a destructive cycle of overworking without a proper plan and what I learned and did to overcome it. So, let's get right into it. Before we start, you already know we gotta start with the savagely supreme saying, or a very good quote that you could take something from, learn from, and apply to your own life. So let's dissect it. Today's supreme saying is, all of your actions from last year got you to where you are, and all of the actions from this year will get you to where you will be. So the question is, what direction are your actions taking you in right now? What direction are your actions taking you in right now? All of you that know, we live in an energetically vibrational universe, and it operates on the laws of cause and effect, input and output. And everything that happens in this universe happens from within the universal exchange that is created from our thoughts, from our emotions, and from our actions. So, when you operate on a day-to-day living and you ask yourself about the outcomes that you are getting, you have to realize that they are based on the inputs that you are putting into your life. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Not just your actions, because sometimes you can do it, but you don't believe it. Or you are doing it, but you're not thinking about it from a proper perspective. Because the great Inky Johnson once said, perspective drives performance. Because how you view what you do is how you do what you do. So, remember when you are doing things and when you want certain outcomes that you have to look at the inputs that you are putting in and track them with the output that you want, with the vision that you have aligned for yourself. Because you have to have a complete alignment between your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions to manifest the reality that you want to come out into life. So once again, that supreme saying is, all of your actions from last year got you to where you are. And all of your actions from this year will get you to where you will be. So the question is, what direction are your actions taking you in right now? Marinate on that, man. And make sure that you are being critical, that you are being analytical, and that you are being intentional about the inputs that you are putting in your life so that they're in alignment with the outcomes that you want to manifest. That is today's supreme saying. So right now, let's get into sharing with the squad. This right here is where I will be sharing a story with y'all and extracting the lessons that I have learned from this story, from this phase, and from this time in my life. So today's story time is, last year, I was stuck in a cycle of juggling so much, living from check to check, trying to balance pursuing my career and establishing myself as a man by moving out of mom's house, which led to a phase of bouncing between jobs, doing Uber, sleeping in my car, staying with other people, trying to pay rent and fund my career at the same time, all while saving up for my own place. And I was being pulled in so many different directions. Now, leading up to that last year, just a quick relapse of what led up to that, very briefly, which I'll go into more details about certain aspects of this But just for the sake of this story, in 2021, me, my mom, and my sister took a move from Louisville, Kentucky, and wanted to make a big change and put ourselves in a better environment to flourish. So we all made it a collective decision that moving to Atlanta would be the best decision. Um, and we did that without the proper resources and research on where we were moving to and what it would take to flourish in that place, because although it is a place of opportunity, you have to be set up in the proper way to flourish, or you will be struggling just like in any other place. So we went through our trials and tribulations with that. Long story short, over a span of time, along with that struggle and adversity that we faced, and my mom also not really liking the fast paced livelihood of Atlanta, she wanted to make another move. So somewhere around the middle-ish end of 2022, we ended up moving to Alabama, which was a better financial situation, pay and wages, and cost of living was lower. So it was a better opportunity for us to reset a new foundation and stabilize ourselves. And a lot of those who know Alabama, or at least the part of Alabama that I was living in, which was Anniston, it's not very much to do. It's very slow paced. It's very country, and it wasn't for me. And my mom loved it, but me not so much. So dealing with that, working very hard and stacking up money and not really feeling so accomplished, being taken out of the fast pace and the arena that Atlanta provided for me to flourish in my creative endeavors, and the people that I connected with and the relationships that I had built and the things that just made me feel alive, made me lead to a decision where I moved back to Atlanta and moved out of my mom's house. Within that move, it was a very impulsive move. I just knew that I had a deep feeling inside of myself that I wasn't going to flourish and live and be fulfilled living in Alabama and trying to live a double life of working in one place and trying to live my career in another place. So I ended up moving from Alabama back to Atlanta, but I didn't have anywhere to move. And I didn't have the funds saved up to get my own place. So I just went out on a limb. And for months, I was, as I said before, juggling in between trying to find a job out there and pursuing my career at the same time, doing shows and performances and contests to get money. Also while doing Uber, and all in the mix of that, sleeping in my car, which was a very challenging thing to do, trying to find the energy and the determination to continue to get up every day and work Uber for hours, and then switch from working from Uber to hours to going out performing, networking, and just hours on hours of being around people and trying to make a way. And honestly, I didn't have a foolproof plan. My plan was only to work hard and go out on my dream and work my way into all of the things that I wanted, but without a concrete plan and without the concrete funding and stability and foundation to jump off from. So eventually I ended up moving in with a friend of a friend, and it didn't go as I thought it was going to go. I was paying her rent and trying to save up for my own place, also while funding my career as a motivational speaker and as a music artist. not ever really being home because of trying to make ends meet and having so many goals for myself and being spread thin in all these directions. On top of me and the person that I was living with not really having aligning lifestyles and point of views and values. So it was also kind of chaotic inside the house. I was being a shell of myself, trying to walk on eggshells, and our personalities and lifestyles colliding. So it was chaos inside the home. And so when I wasn't at home, which was most of the time, I was out trying to work and skipping meals, trying to save and stack, and it was just all consuming and on me. Like, it was weighing on me very heavy, and I was in a place where I was just moving, and I felt like so detached from where I was going. I was moving without a blueprint, without an intention, and without a real clear endpoint and plan of how I would get there. Things that I was doing wasn't making so much sense once you take yourself out of the picture and realize that, yeah, I'm moving, I'm working, I'm stacking money, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But at the end of the day, there's more going out than is coming in. And my plan to save and achieve all these goals and do all these things that I had and desired to do wasn't really working out at all how I wanted to. Like I said, I was accomplishing things, but I wasn't progressing towards the goals that I had in my head for myself to move into a state of ownership, to move into a state of control over my life and flow. And I just wasn't living at my best self. On top of the juggling and moving and surviving, I was detached from my true spirituality, my mental and emotional health. I became very desensitized to how I felt and my health, mental and physical, like going days on days of being tired, working as hard as I could, doing this, doing that to get money, and it was not going anywhere fast. It wasn't going anywhere near where I wanted to be. I realized at a point that I had got myself stuck in a cycle of drowning. I felt like I was drowning. Like, no matter what I did, I cannot get my head above water. So after a lot of months of struggling that I put myself through by being so ambitious and driven and determined to be this man and to be living on my own and to be chasing my dream, I didn't have the proper foundation and setup to do it, which inevitably brought me back to living with my mom again. So once I got with my mom, I was just like, I gotta find a way to really get some money, like some big money. And I ended up taking one of the highest paying jobs in my area, and that job was working at a chicken factory that manufactured and killed chickens, which I spoke on before in my previous episode. But that did not work out how I wanted to. As again, I've said before, I'm a vegetarian, and I thought that I would be making a worthy sacrifice against my morality and the belief of, God creating us and the animals and all of the beings on this earth to coexist and not one being higher than the other, and taking a life for any reason. But I sacrificed that to survive and to try to find a way out for myself. And I didn't last very long in that, because every day I would go into work and it would just be dreadful. I felt like I was lifeless. I felt like a zombie, like trying to desensitize myself from the way that I felt about what I was doing. You gotta ask yourself sometimes, do the ends really justify the means? And for me, that just was not it. My conscience couldn't take walking in every day, killing chickens, dealing with a lot of people around me who are low vibrational and, desensitized from life and walking around without purpose and honestly doing what they needed to do to get by, doing what they needed to do to survive. But for me, I don't want to live in survival. I want to live to strive. I want to live in greatness and supremacy over myself and in the light that God wants me to truly walk in as a king. And I didn't feel like a king walking into that job. I didn't feel like I was fulfilling a purpose. I felt like I was surviving. And that survival wasn't even living. It was just going day by day, moseying around and, getting my money, but not following my mission. I clocking in at the job. I had to clock in when they needed me to for as many hours as they needed me to, overtime when they needed me to. And it wasn't even really fulfilling what I needed to fulfill anyway. I was doing the same thing that I found myself doing in Atlanta, which was just chasing that check. And the check wasn't really getting me to where I needed to be. So after a deep introspecting within myself and conversating with my council of people who I care about and care about me, I realized that I had to make a change for myself. I realized that I can no longer surrender to being stuck in cycles that did not push me towards my goal, that did not push me towards my mission, and did not make me feel like I was living a life full of purpose. So I talked with multiple people, and all of their opinions wasn't good on the decision that I wanted to make. But I also talked with my mom, who at the time was battling cancer, which was also another thing where I felt like I was racing against time. I felt like I constantly heard a clock ticking every single day, every single second, and I was running out of time. It was getting bad. My mom had 2 masses of cancer on her lung, and you could see it in her health. And then day by day, her trying to just stay strong and be strong for us. But you could just feel it. You could feel it. You could see it, that time was ticking. And I had a conversation with her and made the ultimate decision to go ahead and join the military. My mom had a dream of becoming an Air Force pilot when she was younger, and she went through a lot of things with me, having me at a very young age to where it messed up her life, and that dream was messed up because she ultimately did some things to survive. That survival that we keep coming back and talking about. And she was doing things to survive that ended her up in jail with a felony. And for those who don't know, you can't really get in the Army with a felony. Army, Navy, Air Force, whatever it is. Now they have made some stipulations, but even those are very harsh, and there's a small chance that you might get in with a felony. But long story short, she was not able to live up to that dream, trying to be a good mom and provide any way she could, because she ended up going to jail. So within that, I knew that joining the Army would be a great sacrifice. I would be taken out of my natural element, taken away from the people that keep me going and keep me fueled, and really going out and becoming that man on my own without a backbone, without mommy's help, without anybody being able to do the work for me, or which I never let people do the work for me, but being there to pat me on my back and say, keep going. I had to go into the darkness, into the shadows alone to work on something that would bring me out into a higher light. So I knew that, I looked at all the benefits. I looked at the sacrifices that I would have to make, and that exchange, that energetic exchange, and that input and output that I wanted. I realized that if I went through with the Army, that I could create that stability and that foundation that I knew that I needed so that I can succeed in living through my passion and living a life of purpose and being on that mission that I knew that God set me on a long time ago. And I knew that it was going to be a sacrifice, that was going to be lonely, that was going to be hard, and that I didn't deeply want to do inside. But when you have a strong enough why, you can overcome anyhow. And my why was real strong. I was tired of struggling. I was tired of being in the same cycles, tired of feeling powerless, no matter how hard I worked, not getting to where I needed to get to, and watching the people around me struggle in ways that I couldn't support because I wasn't stable enough myself to support anybody and can barely even support myself. So I chose the hard right. I knew it was the right thing to do. And I knew it was hard. I knew it was going to be very challenging. But on the end of a challenge, when you overcome it, is a reward. So I saw my vision. I had my values. And I had the things that I wanted to accomplish. And I knew that the Army could help me fulfill those things. And I had a plan that was tangible, that was accomplishable, and that I can see clearly. I knew that I can come to the Army, I can get away from things that were distracting me and have myself tunnel vision on nothing but my goals and accomplishments, and also be put through a platform and a system that is proven to get me the things that I want if I just stay strong, if I was resilient, and if I pushed through with focus. So I had a plan to join the Army, to take up a schooling and get some college education and a degree behind me, to use my benefits to become a homeowner eventually, and to set up a foundation for my future, not just for myself, but any of my children, my dependents, and people who look to me for support in the future and now. And I saw that vision. I saw the pathway. And I didn't count the sacrifices. I counted the success. So now, almost a year later, I have went through the rigorous course of basic training in the Army, went through job training, and I finally got stationed at my base here in El Paso, Texas, 20 hours and thousands of miles away from everybody that I love and the people that bring me life. But here I am making that sacrifice, and I've been here for a while, getting assimilated to the Army culture, learning how to maximize my Army potential, and making the best out of the time that I have here. And I haven't started my college courses yet because I wanted to really focus on integrating myself into the Army culture. But I'm getting to that point where I'm feeling ready enough to excel and progress myself and upgrade myself again on another level. So I'm going to soon be getting ready to enroll in and decide what college course I want to take. And like I said, eventually after I finish these 3 years that I have signed up for, on the other end of that, I'll be a way more stable man, a wealthier man, and a more stronger man. Right now, I'm doing what I can do to balance, the time that I have in the Army, that I have to dedicate to my career here, my job here, my mission and my task here, but also making sure that I pour into my creative side, my passions, my community, my supporters, all the people who believed in me and invested themselves in me as an artist and as a motivational speaker, because I couldn't just come here and leave that behind. I really contemplated that deeply, leaving behind my Army career, my music, and my motivational career, putting a pause on it and just going all in on the Army, going all in on the college, going all in on those things. But I'm like, no, I have a community, I have a mission, and I have a purpose that I cannot put on pause. So I'm doing whatever I can within that sacrifice of joining the Army to also sacrifice time, effort, and energy to pour into and nurture the community of people that have supported me along the way of my musical journey and my motivational journey, because that purpose keeps me alive in here. It makes me look forward to something. It makes me be driven by my purpose. And I'm very happy with the decision that I made. I've seen so many leaps of discipline, sacrifice, resiliency, resourcefulness, and coming out on the other end of that decision stronger. So I say all that to say that you have to start somewhere with your vision and your goals and your dreams. And sometimes the hard decision is more than likely not the right decision. The hard decision is more often the right decision. You have to sometimes make that hard sacrifice so that you can sacrifice now, but live the rest of your life in supremacy. You sometimes have to sacrifice now so that you can live the rest of your life in supremacy. Back in 2022, when I first came to Atlanta, I ran into an encounter with an Army recruiter before, and I was going to join. But there were multiple reasons that I gave myself to not do it then. And I wouldn't completely say I regret it, because everything that fuels me to do what I'm doing now, and that why that I said, that why that will push you through anyhow, was developed through the time that I denied myself from going the first time. But at the same time, if I would have had that inclination to have that strong enough why then, it would have been better for me, because I would have been ahead 3 years on this journey that I'm on now. But sometimes you have to learn the hard way, and that's okay. Everybody's process is different. But at the end of the day, you have to look back and remember that the things that you did last year got you to where you are now. And the things that you do this year will get you to where you will be. So you have to ask yourself, the things that I am doing, where are they taking me? What direction are my actions taking me in? Because it's all on you. You have to take extreme ownership of your life, because the things that you put blame on, you give power to. So remember that it is all on you. The ball is in your hands. And it's game time. It's game time. You got to get in that gym. You got to put the practice in, and you got to put the work in. But at the end of the day, when you get on that court, you got to execute. So remember that the things that you do in the dark, the practice that you put in the dark, allows you to shine in front of millions and thousands and the whole world in the light. So track your progression, track your actions, and make sure that your actions are leading to the destiny that you want to manifest for yourself. So right now, that's all I got for sharing with the squad. And I want to move on to the Supreme Savage shout out. I got a shout out, man. So my shout out for today is for a longtime friend, a brother, through God, through life, and through experience. My boy Deshaun Tillman over at Deshaun Todges on Instagram. And again, I want to shout out my boy Deshaun Tillman. And his Instagram is Deshaun Todges. DESHAUNTAUGES. Deshaun Todges. You know, I'm shouting him out today because I learned a very valuable lesson from watching his growth and resiliency throughout the years, watching from where he came from and what he is now. I learned that you can come from anywhere and become whatever you want to be. There are no excuses. You can come from nothing and become everything that you ever envision of yourself and desire to be. That higher version of yourself that you want to manifest. Create that reality that you always wanted to be. I watched him overcome depression, physical disadvantages, anxiety, getting repeatedly fired from jobs, and having no identity at a time and being so lost in a place like Chicago, Illinois, where they will chew you up and devour you if you don't already get ahead. But that did not stop him. That didn't stop him from being sick or tired of being sick and tired and seeing what he wanted to become and going all in to become it. He went from being depressed, facing anxiety, having low self-esteem, like having social anxiety, going from job to job, being broke, and being tired of that situation and turning it all around for himself. I remember he telling me that he wanted to become an editor. He had that passion and the determination to become an editor and make videos that are impactful to him and the people that they come across, and create a community of like-minded editors who wanted to collab and just create that type of art and expression into the world. And now, sitting here, he is one of the most respected editors in the underground and up-and-coming world. And it's so inspiring to me because it was a time where I had to pour so much into him for him to get to where he was into a place where he could pour into others. And now, like, career-wise, he started later than me. And if you go look at his page, he is getting a lot more traction than I am. And I'm happy for that. Like, I'm happy to see that some seeds of hope and inspiration and vision that I implanted into him, that I saw from the beginning that he can become, even when he was in a place of darkness. I saw the light inside of him, and once he saw that light inside of him, he took like full control of that power and made no excuses to just go full all in and go get what he wanted. He's getting hundreds of thousands of views on his videos, like creating with different editors, big time editors, small time editors that are on their way up. And the whole manifestation of that is just like mind-boggling miracle stuff if you really knew where he came from. And on top of that, as I said, he was getting fired job after job after job. He could not keep a job, and he was really like trying to find his way in the world. And now he's not only having one, but two jobs that he has been at stably, and that has provided a great income from him, and that he actually enjoys doing. He's in a job in a field, in a sports field, where he's doing things that he loves, seeing big time, celebrities, and really doing it, bruh. Like, it's crazy to see where he came from to where he is. And a lot of people in his predicament would give the blame to the world, give the blame to all type of things. Oh, I'm from Chicago. Oh, I'm poor. Oh, my mom this. Oh, my dad that. Like, but he didn't. And I'm proud that he didn't make any excuses. He went out and executed. So today's Supreme Savage shout out goes out to Deshaun Todges for teaching me that you can come from anywhere and become whatever you want to be. There are no excuses. Take extreme ownership over your life and go out and execute. That's all there is to it, is to do it. The only thing that's stopping you is you. So I appreciate you, Deshaun, my boy Shano, for teaching me that and using your life and your story to teach other people that, for being the light that you became out of the darkness that you've been through. Much love, my boy. Shout out to you. And for the final segment, we are going to the recap, the closeout, the Supreme Savage suggestion. So, my Supreme Savage suggestion is, if you are feeling stuck, the best cure is to get back into motion. And if you are feeling lost, you're most likely disconnected from your GPS system. So set a clear coordinates to your destination and get back connected with your high power and your internal guidance to take you there one step at a time. Listen, if you are stuck, you have to get back in motion. Because there's nothing sitting there waiting for you feeling sorry for yourself, for you blaming the world, and for you not making a plan to get out of the prison that you have allowed yourself to be locked in. You have to set yourself free. You have the power within inside you to create a reality that no one in your bloodline has ever seen. You were sent from the universe to break the curses, the generational bondage, and all the trauma that was instilled upon you and your bloodline. You are the light that was sent from the darkness. And you've been disconnected from your higher power, whether that's God, whether that's the universe, or whether that's just the greater good. You have to connect back with your power. You have to connect back with your vision. Because your vision is the destination. And your power, your inner guidance, your inner willpower, your strength is what's going to get you there step by step to that destination that you see in your head that is one day going to be a part of your reality. It's all on you. So look, if you're feeling stuck, the best cure is to get back in motion. And if you're feeling lost, you're most likely disconnected from your GPS system. So set a clear coordinates to your destination and get back connected with your higher power and your internal guidance to take you there one step at a time. The destination is yours. You just got to go conquer it. And one last time, all of your actions from last year got you to where you are, and all the actions from this year will get you to where you will be. So the question is, what direction are your actions taking you in right now? Go ahead and marinate on that and decide where you want to go, because it's all on you. That's it for today's episode of the Savagely Spoken Show. Right now, I want to thank all of y'all for tuning in and listening to the end. And I need y'all to subscribe to the podcast on all audio platforms: Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podcastle, YouTube, whatever it is that you listen to podcasts on. Go ahead and subscribe. Turn on the notifications so you can be tapped into all of the upcoming episodes. Thank you all for listening. And always remember to strive for supremacy and stay savage. Ah!